Most people have to start from the bottom and go up, and here I was starting at the top.
She's worked for some of the wealthiest and most prestigious families in America. But in recent years, Elsie Henderson of Shadyside has also become somewhat of a celebrity herself, appearing in both newspaper and magazine articles, and sometimes she's even on TV.
You know, it's always nice to have you here. Elsie has been part of our Best of QED cooks for these many years, so thank you.
And enjoying it every minute.
Are you? Well, we hope you'll continue to be part of our cooking marathons.
Born on Mount Washington in 1913, Elsie is the youngest of 13 children. Smart and outspoken, her mind remains full of details about days long past, the days when she once worked for the Mellons, the Kennedys, the Kaufmans, and the Hineses.
Did you ever think, starting out, that you would end up leading the life that you did?
In a way, I did, because I said I would never do housework for anyone except myself, and that I've never done housework for anyone.
But in a time of limited career opportunities for Black Americans, Elsie went from nursing school to Kaufman's accounting department to cooking.
So I thought maybe I'd like to cook or do something. And one day I get a call from Miss Guzzi. She's a lady who had an employment agency, but she got help only for the very wealthy. And so she told me, she said, I have something I think maybe you'll be able to do. And she said it's for H.J. Hines II.
So in the early 1940s, Elsie went to work for the Hines food family at their estate in Fox Chapel, Rosemont Farm. There, she met Hines's Aunt Vera.
The first thing she asked me was, do you know how to make soups? And so I told her, yes, I did, but I love to try new recipes, you know. And so she said that she would send some of hers over, because the canned soups are not for us, they are for the public.
And how did you answer her?
I'm saying to myself, excuse me. So she sent some of her recipes over, and I tried them. They turned out very well.
While at Rosemont, Elsie also cared for a little boy she called Johnny. The rest of America would later know him as U.S. Senator John Hines. Johnny was living here in Pittsburgh with his recently divorced dad. This photograph shows Elsie watching little Johnny as he played by the pool.
He was a lovely little boy. And it just hurts you to think of what happened to him, even after all these years, you know. And I would go to his office in the Federal Building. I was always welcome there, and he would tell me, he said, Elsie, you just never call me Senator. He says, to you, I'm Johnny.
He had a favorite out of everything that you made.
He loved that chocolate mint angel food cake. He loved that. But finally, his mother took him to California. I guess he was about maybe 7 when he left the farm.
Elsie would leave Rosemont, too, eventually taking a job with another well-known Pittsburgh family, the owners of Kaufman's department store, where Elsie once worked in accounting. Only this time, she was baking for the Kaufmans at a secluded place in the woods of Fayette County called Falling Water. The home was designed by famed architect Frank Lloyd Wright.
And so you walk through the doors, and first, what do you think about?
That I wouldn't stay here 5 minutes. I thought it was a horrible place. I didn't like it at all, but it grew on me. And I come to find out that there's no place like Falling Water.
And to Elsie, there's no family quite like the Kaufmans. Edgar Sr., his wife Lillian, and son Edgar Jr.
So this is the kitchen. You spent a lot of time planning here, huh?
She remembers them as friendly, generous, and caring.
Because I was always the first one up in the morning when he would see the light, then he would come down and he would take a seat here.
The Kaufmans gave Elsie and other staff members free rein in the kitchen. Did you bake all the bread?
Yes, I did all of the baking. Mrs. Kaufman never interfered. She never told us what to prepare. She would tell people that she had the best staff anywhere. But if there was something special that she wanted, she would let us know ahead of time.
What were some of your favorite dishes to prepare here?
Well, they were very fond of roast duckling, but of course the chef fixed that. And then for lunch, I don't know if it's still here, but there was an enormous fish platter shaped like a fish, and I would poach a whole salmon in a cheesecloth and steam it, and then that was chilled overnight. And when you take that cheesecloth off, most of the skin is coming with that. We would put it on this big fish tray, and then I would decorate it just like a fish, you know, and they would have that cold for lunch. I bought this Frigidaire. My measurement was way off because we wanted a Frigidaire to go down in the basement. So that shows you how much I know about measuring.
So what happens? It arrives, it's way too big.
Yes, so the only thing we could do would be to set it here.
Wow. And was this statue always here?
It's seen a lot of wear and tear. You see the holes in the
Elsie
top.
still enjoys visiting Falling Water and goes back several times a year. She likes reminiscing about the many guests and the many parties that once took place here.
So tell me about kind of the fun that the Kaufmans like to have.
Yes, on weekends. And Mr. Kaufman had a habit. To me, it was a bad habit, but I used to go along with it. He would come to the door and he'd say, "Elsie, I know you're busy, but we want to show these people how to dance." And I would come in with him and we would dance. And some of the expressions on the guest's face was saying, "Oh my God, they associate with the hired help." But he didn't care.
So this is it. This was the main room.
Yes,
This is where you danced.
this is where we danced.
And was the fireplace going all winter
fireplace.
long?
No, just once in a while. And this big vessel here was for our grog after it was mixed, and then that was pulled over the fireplace and heated. This here we always kept with flowers on top of here.
Elsie has other lasting memories of Falling Water, like a visit from legendary violinist Isaac Stern. She also remembers the year 1956, when water from Bear Run flooded the basement and first floor of the home. Elsie and Edgar Jr. had to run for their lives.
And the water was flowing down into the basement, and it was coming up this stairway here, and it came to the tops of the sofa seats quickly. And we were running around. Mr. Kaufman said, "Get some food, we better go up to the guest house." And we got food and we went up there. That's where we had to run. It was terrible.
And how long did it take to restore everything after?
It was close to 2 months to get the place cleaned out, all the mud and stuff. And then when they got it all straightened out, young Kaufman said he was going to have Frank Lloyd Wright fly in to talk to some of the men on the farm. We went to the airport, and Mr. Wright, oh my, he was a talking sensation. And when we came to Oakland, he took another look at the Cathedral of Learning, and he was disgusted. He said it was the tallest "Stay Off the Grass" sign he had ever seen. He didn't like that at all.
Elsie worked at Falling Water until the early 1960s. By then, Edgar and Lillian Kaufman had died, and the Western Pennsylvania Conservancy had taken over the property. Elsie then went to work for Richard Prosser Mellon of the Mellon banking family. But during summer vacations, she also worked for the Kennedys of Massachusetts.
Ethel is the only one who kept help until they died, and she was really the nicest one. And Ted was very nice. And then I went over to the Shrivers, which was a big mistake. I wish I had come home. Eunice never spoke to me the whole time I was there. She would write everything on paper, and her handwriting was more of a scribble. And I asked her how she expected me to order if I couldn't read her writing. Still, she never said anything. Junior's favorite part.
But Elsie talks less about the disappointments and more about the good times, especially the family that made her feel most welcomed, Edgar and Lillian Kaufman.
This is Mr. Kaufman's favorite coffee cake. Oh. You know, we had to leave him a piece of something on the table every night or on a shelf in the ice box.
What will you remember most? If you had to sum up this place, because you have so many memories here.
It would be hard to pick one. They were such great people. They both really loved this place. There's no place like Falling Water.